Hey legends, welcome to the Celtic Down Under podcast. I'm your host Jared, and we've got a full house tonight. We've got Ian, we've got Willie, and we've got Shane. So it's the two Kiwi boys and the two guys from Melbourne. Here we go. We split it evenly on the screen as well. So how you going, Ian?
I'm good, mate. How are you doing?
You're looking wonderful under the halo on the screen today. How you going, Willie?
Going pretty well, Charlie. Going pretty well indeed, actually, yeah.
Yeah, I got a question. Is that this season's top you're wearing?
That is the season's top, but it was not purchased from the Celtic Superstore.
I know that for a fact because you've told me off air, but I'm doing that just so that if anyone in the comments makes any
Yes.
things, it's on the record just to cover your ass.
DHgate.
There you go.
Other knockoff sites are available.
How you going, Shane?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Good to be with you as always. Bit of a packed weekend. I thought I'd regale everybody on the Irish market I went to yesterday. Out in St Kilda, for those who aren't too familiar with Melbourne, St Kilda's a Bayside suburb about 10 minutes away from the CBD. And it's a suburb where a lot of Irish expats sort of live and work and hang out, particularly when they come to Melbourne. And they put on, for the first time ever, like an Irish market. And it was great to attend. It was really good. So hopefully it's the first of many.
Isn't that the home area of the Jockstein CSC? They still
Yes.
down that way?
I think so, yeah, from memory. There's a fairly big Irish contingent and Irish flavour to St Kilda. Like, we've got the St Kilda Celts that play down there in the State League of football, both men's and women's.
Shout out to them if you're watching at all. Let us know in
Absolutely.
the comments.
Yeah, and there's some great venues down there. So there's a real big Irish contingent that live and prosper down that way. So it made sense for them to have the market out in St Kilda. It was actually out at Hotel Esplanade. So, an Irish market at a pub works.
No wrong.
You can't go wrong. So, yeah, it was really good. It was great to check out, and hopefully they have more.
Nice. So, tonight's pod could be a quick one. Who knows? I don't know what's happened much this week. We won a Champions League qualifier, so that's a good start. We've got another Champions League qualifier away coming up Tuesday night, Wednesday morning our time. Transfer rumours are kicking off and they're thick and heavy at the moment, so that's always a good thing. We'll get into that, and we'll do a little would you rather later on the pod as well, because why not? We haven't done one of them in a while. So, yeah, it's we'll have to get as many people in the comments getting involved, giving your opinions. We'll share them up on the screen, but yeah, we'll just roll on into Champions League result. So, Ian, what was your thoughts on the win against Lask at Parkhead the other day?
Elated about the result and the goals, but I must measure it and balance it with the fact that obviously we could have been easily sort of 2 or 3 down before we scored. We looked pretty shaky. They were really dynamic and came out of the starting blocks really quickly. Clinical finishing and I just thought our defence has looked a bit shaky. Obviously Dundee United hitting the post so many times, or the woodwork so many times, and so we look like we kind of take a little bit of time to get up to speed. But it doesn't have to show you what quality signings, Champions League proven quality brings you. And it was kind of like, under Ange when we went toe-to-toe with Real Madrid for maybe 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and then they kind of just turned the screw and ended up doing us 3-0, and it didn't seem like a 3-0 result. It seemed a bit unfair on Lask, really, that they played so well and then they were on the end of it. So I think obviously they're kind of new to European football, so maybe it just showed that we had that little bit of street smart about us that you need in Europe. Obviously the sojourn into Europe where we did so well under Brendan a couple of seasons ago. I know everyone talks about the Bayern Munich game being a defining moment, but we kind of we kind of showed that we held our own at that point. So there's still a way to go in terms of signings. I think obviously we're going to need to replace Engels, but there's a few players that we're linked to be rumoured to be getting. I've got a horrible feeling that the board will probably think they've done enough with going out and getting these guys. But I mean, his hold-up play was phenomenal. Duran just looks like a class act, and I don't know if we spoke about this before, but watching the Colombia versus Portugal game in the World Cup, I was like get us some of these Colombian players. They just like the last breed of street footballers. So a lot of positivity, a little bit to go, but yeah, good signs.
Yeah, and Shane, what's your thoughts?
Not too dissimilar to him, really. I thought it was, first and foremost, it was a really enjoyable game of football as well. Like, that was the one thing that for a neutral, I think if you're watching that, it's a really good attacking game of football. Lots of fluid movement, lots of good passing. I agree. Like, there was a lot to be positive about. We were really good. Um, some wonderful goals. Even the one that got chalked off for them was a really good finish, right? That was a wonderful goal, and then it was outdone by Negrin, and then obviously outdone by Duran as well. Um, yeah, plenty to be positive about. I loved the way we played. I loved a bit of the variety to the way we played as well, in terms of just, at times we weren't able to play through their press. So we played the long ball and looked to win those second balls. And then once that started to work out, then we were able to play through their press a little bit better. Yeah, it was a really good, enjoyable performance to watch. It was exciting to watch. But I want to sort of underline what Ian said. Like, Lask can consider themselves pretty unlucky to go away from paradise without actually scoring. And there are definitely some things we need to be wary of when we go to Austria later in the week.
Willie, throw to you for your thoughts on it.
Yeah, kind of similar to what the guys are saying. I mean, 3-0. It was a good scoreline. It's a good lead to take over there. It makes you feel a lot more comfortable knowing that we didn't concede a goal, but we could very easily have done that. Like, they were no mags, and yeah, they gave us a good game. I did kind of think their high press suited us. It allowed McGregor, Bauer, and Negren to kind of cook in behind them and sort of make plays for ourselves and try and drop balls into who and to, like you say, get the second balls to feed off. I do kind of think their style suits us in the way that they press, and when they go forward in numbers and leave spaces all over, which we did exploit. And I think looking at them coming away from home and playing that kind of football kind of gives me the feeling that they might only be able to play one way, and they might have one style of football, and that's the way they're going to play. So they'll play the same way at home, which gives me hope that we might actually get a goal out there. But no, all round, I thought we had a shaky start. Carter Vickers looked slow. I think he just needed to waken up in that first 5 minutes. He was just all over the place. I thought Donovan had a great game. Nygren was brilliant. Sinisalo, they had 8 shots on target. Sinisalo saved all 8 of them, Mike. So Casper Ho was holding the ball up well. Yang did all right. He was driving forward okay. He was tracking back, but when it came to time to pass the ball, he kind of disappointed a little bit there. But what can you say about Duran? Like, he's a new hero, the new darling of Parkhead. Like,
Yeah, it's for me. You guys have pretty much said most of what I wanted to say, but just the overall thing I look at is what that game reminded me of. Is, you remember in Ange's first season we played Bodo Glimt, or was that in Europa League? And they had that bit more experience, and Ange wanted us to play on the front foot, that high press, and they caught us out. It was Ola Solbakken on the wing, and he just tore us to shreds on the counter. I hope people remember that, and I'm not just like making something up like I was in some lucid sort of like weed induced dream or something, right? But that's how I saw this game. It's like they're relatively new in Europe. They're pressing. We knew they were going to play hard, and we were able to just pick them off and get the ball out wide. And to use a saying you use a bit, Ian, our wingers actually were winging. If we couldn't get through the middle, we went wide, and then we had a bit of overlap. We had crosses come in from Tierney. We had Yang going both inside and outside. Duran loves to just drift in onto his left foot. But, yeah, it was just great to see overall. I just thought our attack in general didn't look as clunky as it did last season. Having the big guy up front, Casper Hu, just he played a really selfless role in that game. He was like the battering ram, drawing all the attention to make space for the second balls and for the wingers to cut in and get their shots away. So if you look at I looked at the reverse angle just before we jumped on here of Nigrin's first goal. Who had 3 defenders around him?
Who? No, you tell me. Who?
Casper did. There you go. So he'd drawn 3 defenders. It created the extra space that Nigrin needed. For the third goal from Duran, same deal. Casper had drawn some defenders and made extra space. So he played that selfless game. But the funny thing is, we go over to Austria, we flip this around. They're going to come out. They haven't lost very many games at home in about 4 or 5 years. So it's going to be tough to go there. I want us to get on the front foot, though. I don't want us to just go and try and play for a draw or play not to get beat too. Like, okay, if they beat us 2-0 fine, we're still through an aggregate. I want us to go there and try and win. If we can get over there and get an early goal, then they have to score 5. I don't see it happening. A few other players I want to touch on that were briefly mentioned. Colby Donovan. Congratulations, young man. Stand up, take a bow. That game could be the making of him in a Celtic jersey. I still think we need someone better, especially if AJ is going to be out long term. But Colby Donovan showed a lot in that game, a lot of heart, got stuck in, made a couple of times he got caught out of position, but he didn't shit the bed, he just got on with it. So, yeah, I'm happy with his performance. And, yeah, as you mentioned, Sinisalo, talk is we need another goalkeeper. We're in for another keeper, which we'll get into later on the pod. But for me, he didn't do anything wrong in that game. It's going to be hard for whoever comes in to take the number 1 jersey off him at the moment. So, yeah, okay, Shane?
Yeah, no, for me, just if you're touching on players that maybe we've only sort of mentioned briefly, I just wanted to give some flowers to Mika Bauer. I thought he was excellent, and I know his passing didn't exactly come off each and every time, but you can just see what he's trying to do when he gets the ball. The way he's trying to thread those balls through. There are a couple of times where you go, "Wow, if that's just an inch either side, Calmac's free." Or Duran's free, or Yang's out on his own. Like just the way he plays, he gives me a lot of Aaron Moy vibes. There's a cool swagger to him, an ease of the way that he plays the game. That I think he's going to be a very nonchalant kind of dominator of the ball. I think we're going to enjoy him for a long time.
It's funny you said Moy because I had a slightly different one on him. I think Bauer is the player I thought Odin Home would be when we first signed him. Similar sort of profile, right? Coming in. So it's that. But you said Aaron Moy. If we're going to go for Socceroos, I just see a lot of Jackson Irvin in him. Can play defensively, can play in the 6, can play in the 8. Never looks rushed.
Yeah, poor Moy didn't have the legs for a 6 when he came to Celtic, unfortunately.
So... anyone else, you boys, Ian, Willie, you want to give some flowers to, give a bit of love to?
I think we've been through the whole team, really. So.
There's only one missing out, and that I'll bring him up then. Yang and his new hairdo. That's the only thing missing out, really.
Yang Shady. Yang made some space. He had some crucial elements to the goals, two of the goals. Just as you were saying before with Who as well. Occupying other players to create space. He got a touch for the first goal as well at the start of the move for Negren's goal, or was it the first goal by Duran? I can't remember now.
Nah, Negren. You're right.
Negren's goal, yeah. I think it's whether Yang has reached his level or whether he's got any more gears to go through. I hope it's the latter. But it was just a really sort of accomplished performance, and as I say, the quality players, the additions. I just hope that, and I agree with you with Bauer, Shane. I just hope that the board don't think we don't have to replace Engels, and we kind of waste him in that double pivot role. I think he is more of a he's more of a playmaker, and I think it would be a massive loss to the team if he's not allowed to sort of play a bit further forward and thread those balls through, because we've been lacking that for a few years. Well, since Matt O'Reilly, really, that's someone who can sort of break the lines, to use common parlance, and thread the ball through the eye of a needle, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that, and that's how I saw his game unfold, and that's how I want to see him play going forward, is him getting on the ball, turning, facing forward, who can he play through? That's where I sort of call upon the Aaron Moy role, because that's what he did so well, and he was able to control and run the midfield, and he just looked so at ease when doing it. You'd swear that he'd never broken a sweat before, and I see a lot of Moy in Bauer that way, but I agree. As much as Jared's right, he does have the legs to play in that 6, and he can put in those defensive hard yards when need be. I want an actual proper number 6 there that can actually play that screening role and free up Bauer. So hopefully the board does pull their finger out in regards to that.
Is number 8, let's be honest, is number 8 being shoehorned into a 6, just like Calmac is still to this day, I don't think he's ever naturally been a 6. Arnie Engels was a 6, but he wanted to play as an 8. So we're all over the joint the last few years. But yeah, it's at the end of the day, it'll be interesting to see what happens. We've got some news coming in, like in terms of, the rumours out there. So it looks like they're not putting their queue in the rack. So we'll go through that. But I'll get some comments up, and then we'll get into the game on Wednesday for us, Tuesday for everyone back home and over in Scotland. And yeah, we'll go from there. So Simon, of course, mate. Sun's out and Denny, perfect time for the Aussies to rock up. We bring the sun, mate. You should know that. The only country in the world with a hole in the ozone layer above it. There you go. That's why we have ridiculous levels of skin cancer in Australia. But that's not something to brag about. Anyway, I went there. Michael Ross, you're welcome. I was just about to cut the grass, but that can wait. McLaughlin's saying it could have been 4-4.
Yeah, agree.
And yeah, if it was 4-4, if it was 6-3, either way, both teams could have been anything.
I personally think, hopefully we all score a goal over there. They could easily blow us away 3-0 over there in their own ground. If they start in a similar fashion, and we could potentially capitulate. So Martin O'Neill's been really pointed at saying that as well, and pressing that upon the players. But I think we need to just be really attuned to, starting off the game was keeping it tight, all the old cliches and stuff like that, and not allowing them to blow us away like they did at the beginning of the first game.
Yeah, all the cliches, Ian. It's half time, it's half time in the tie, or the old, for me, it's 0-0 again in the next game. We've got to go and win this one as well.
Yeah.
So we're just having a look here. DJ Ray's saying 2 offside goals and a 1-on-1, which could have been called offside. The only real chances they had that would have been counted was a save Sinisalo made when Trusty was sat down. So there you go. Fair point. Gotta love this here. Gabby Boy McWinless could enter Eurovision singing Puppet on a String. Whole bunch of Eurovision stuff going on there. And yeah, Gordon, spot on. We need a professional performance Wednesday morning. Don't know which one you're talking about. Smell the glove, but yeah. Other podcaster person today, so Becky, you're always welcome here, mate. We don't take life too serious. There you go. We just talk shit. It's good.
We're always pretty chipper, I reckon.
Most of the time. Last season was a drag, let's be honest. It was for every bastard. Lubo McNamara, good to see you, troops. Wee Colby is some boy, next KT and coming. He loves it. And that's what we need. We need more of our guys to come through. So
that spell in the first half where they had the throw in and he was just blocking everything. He was stopping anything getting into the box in this sort of small 30 second to a minute window. It just showed you the level of commitment that he was showing. He wants to be in this team. He wants to contribute. It was exceptional.
What's the old saying? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yep.
And that's the thing with Colby. I just look at him and go, he just works hard. No matter who we're playing, whether it's Dundee, whether it's St Johnson, whether it's Champions League, whenever I've seen him on the pitch, even if he butchers something, he still works hard. So for me, that's half the battle won. He's pretty young there. So
he was playing against their star man too. The boy Bello from America was one. You listen to any podcast, anyone was doing review shows about their play and their style. They all targeted Bello as one of the danger men to watch when he came up against Donovan. And you also look at the attacking phases of play. Celtic are pretty balanced. I think they had 40% on one side, 41 on the other, and 19 down the middle. Whereas the Lask had something like 38% or 42% down one side, and then the rest was 38, and the rest was down the middle. So they did target Donovan. They did try to push by going down the left a lot. So kudos to the boy. He stood up to the task and he stood up well. Yep,
100%. Helps having a mentor with that fighter mentality and AJ in front of him, doesn't it?
KT as well. It's almost like when KT had that breakout kind of spell. This could be a springboard as well for him. I hope it does. And as much as I'd like to see us go and get Araujo, I think we still should. What better time now to give Colby Donovan a chance? Because players of that age, they need like KT did. You know, it was
Izagiri went down.
yeah. But he was given a chance, and he was getting a run in the team. So you got to allow him to make his mistakes domestically. You know, in certain parts of the season. I think that it's only better for the long term gain.
Yep, 100%. So we've got some comments. Simon saying if we score first, that's a mountain for them psychologically. Some other guys saying, yeah, think about it, mate. Martin O'Neill ain't going to change the system for the most important game of the season, 4-3-3. Yeah, he's not Neil Lennon putting, was it,
Cal
Mack at left back or whatever it is. So he's not an idiot like that. McLaughlin's spot on. As long as I'm not hiding behind the couch the last 15 minutes, we'll be fine. So, yeah, it's going to be a bit of an interesting game there, but we'll get after it. I reckon we'll get the win. But, yeah, just flowing into the game, boys. We'll go to you, Willie. How do you think we're going to line up? And we won't go the score prediction yet, but how do you think we're going to line up? And what tweaks do you think we will make from last week's performance to the next game?
I think we'll line up identical to the way we lined up at Parkhead. I think the game comes just too soon for Hassan. Now, I did notice that when Hassan came on, they did kind of fear him and they feared his pace. They did sit up and take notice as soon as he came on the pitch because they knew he's fast, but he's not quite there yet. And it's just a pity because, like I said earlier, the way they press high and the space they leave him behind, that's something someone like Hassan would really exploit. But I think it's like I say, it's come a little bit too soon. But I don't foresee too much changes. You're going to play Young because he does offer a bit more defensively. Duran will play, obviously, Ho as well. So, yeah, I think it's as you were.
Ian, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I think the same, mate. I think I agree with Willie. I do think, I'm hopeful as well. Martin O'Neill's alluded to it, or he's actually come out and said it. You know that he will. You know, teams should be able to play more than one formation. So obviously, this probably isn't the time nor the place to do it. I think we'll stick with 4-3-3. But I do think that we have the capacity to, with the personnel we've got, to actually maybe try a 3-5-2 or a good old fashioned 4-4-2. But 3-5-2, Martin's old school approach, I think would really suit a lot of the players in this team.
I was actually thinking, Ian, that if he was going to try and protect the lead with 10 minutes to go, a good old-fashioned 4-4-2, and then you just have up front Hu and Duran playing off each other.
Yeah,
those two together will keep the bastards honest defensively, and then we can hold them out with the other 8 players back there. Shane, what's your thoughts?
No, I pretty much agree with Willie and Ian. I can't see any changes, really. I think we'll line up exactly the way we did at Paradise in the home leg. But the only one I could possibly see, our centre halves weren't super comfortable. I could see Trusty making way for Scales. That's the only thing I could consider. But I reckon there's a real chance of overthinking this one and actually causing more problems than solving problems. I would go with the same starting 11 if all fit.
Yeah, I agree, Shane. Like, for me, I don't see the point, just mucking around and being a tinker man, Ranieri style, and making changes for changes' sake. At the end of the day, Brendan did that a lot at the start of last season. I think the key thing is we had a good performance last time out. The players are getting used to playing together in their system. So let's just go out there. Let's just play with the same lineup. And then if we need to later on, we can do that. And the thing is, I don't see Scales coming in for Trusty, because if Scales is going to be on your bench, he gives you the versatility because we don't have a backup left back. So Martin's got to keep him in reserve in case something happens to Tierney or something happens to Trusty, because both of those guys do get knocks quite regularly. You've got someone that can cover both positions. So you're not going to cut your nose off to spite your face by putting Scales out at centre back and then run the risk. That's just any for my thoughts there. But yeah, Gordon agrees with you, Shane, so we'll put that on the screen for you. I agree, don't complicate it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, for me, and this is probably what you're getting into next, which is probably about how you think the game's going to flow. I think we're going to see a very similar approach from Lask. They're obviously going to press very high. They need to score 3 goals to get back in the tie, right? So they're going to be what we saw obviously what we saw at Parkhead was, when it worked, it looked good, but it left them quite exposed. That's going to be ramped up. There's going to be opportunities for us to hit those wide areas again, to have those wingers stay wide and get into those pockets of space that they leave in behind. I think what we need to do is not actually shut up shop and not play too defensive. I don't think we need to go out necessarily all-out attack, but I wouldn't deviate too much from the way we played in the first leg. I think if we actually sit back and invite them on, we're going to invite and put ourselves in a situation we don't want to be in. I don't see an awful lot changing in terms of both teams' approaches, especially theirs, other than that's just going to be ramped up to the nth degree, which would give us an opportunity to go and get an early 4th goal.
Exactly, Shane. That's the thing. We go out and play the exact same way. And if they're going to come out and they're going to be up and about, they're going to press hard, they're going to have their fans behind them, and they're going to be like trying to make something happen and swing momentum and get this game going in their favour early on. They came out like that last game anyway, so we'd expect that from them. So they're going to come out with a puncher's chance and try and throw the first haymaker, try and knock us out early, right? It's not going to happen. We've got to just stick together, know what we've got to do, and then just complete, and then when we get a chance, take it. That's all we've got to do. Sounds pretty simple, but do you trust Celtic away in Europe? That's the big question above all else.
I trust Martin away, managing Celtic in Europe, put it that way.
Yeah, well said.
That's why I was throwing at Ian, because I expected him to drop some knowledge like that.
Didn't he? I mean, last season, I know we got pumped out, against German opposition, but he kind of we competed admirably in the away fixture. It just reminded us of the Halcyon days under Martin the first time he was manager. So I do think he's got a bit about him. Obviously, he's schooled with by Cloughie. We won 2 European Cups back to back. I know it's changed days, but it's not so changed that to actually go away and compete in Europe, and have that mentality. It's a lot of it is a mentality thing. Martin O'Deill's obviously got that steel in abundance.
Willie, the floor is yours right now for the final bit on how you think the game will go, and then we'll get into our score predictions, because I'm looking at you going, Willie looks like he's about to nod off.
No, I was just reading the comments there. That's probably my eyes are drifting to one side of the screen. Now, I think they're going to come out. They're going to have to come out, and they're going to have to come out fast and try and eat into that lead we have straight away. So I think there's going to be time and space in behind them for us to play. I think both teams will score, but I think we will probably sit a little bit deeper than we did at home, because we're not. It's not imperative that we go out and press them. We don't need to score. We just need to protect the lead. But we have to be on our toes, because they are, everyone else is saying, they're going to come out and they're going to hit us hard. But there is, like I say, we have to be on our toes, because there is going to be gaps to exploit. When they come, I look at that front line and see Duran, and I see Hull, and I see Nygren, and I think there is goals there that will be able to, there's goals there, like I say, and when the gaps come, we'll be able to exploit it.
Yep, 100%. So, score predictions, boys. What are you thinking? Who wants to go first?
Score draw.
Okay.
2-2 draw.
I've got a feeling we'll probably lose the game, but score a goal, I hope. 3-1 or 2-1 to them.
For me, I was going to say 1-1.
3-1, Ian. 3-1, Ian. That now we are going to be all behind the couch on the last 15 minutes.
I hope I'm wrong. I just think at the start of that game, if we get off to a shaky start and they get a couple of quick goals, then it's shit your pants time, isn't it?
It's hide behind the couch time. Yep. There we go. So we've got some scores here. So Rose Sir Robin saying, I'll take a boring 1-0 win. McLaughlin saying 3-1. Michael Ross is saying 2 each, and I love your profile picture there, Michael. Again, another absolute belter. Smell the glove, 2-1 defeat, but fuck it, through. So yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be interesting. We'll get through this game and see where it all ends up. Hopefully, we're in the Champions League. That's all I gotta say, because that'll be nice and handy, Shane, for later in the year. November, I had a look. The dates where we're both going to be over there. Yep, there's a Champions League game on one of those weeks. I can't remember which one. So hopefully it's at home. Get it done. Yep. Yeah. So there's some transfer rumours going on. So at the moment, so I'll just bring up a couple of little bits and pieces. So apparently, Emanalo in the building doing his media stuff. Deals agreed. The backup left back from Chelsea. Mamic is on his way over. €8 million deal agreed, rising to 10 million. So that's a number 10. Zagur deal is basically complete too. Alistair Johnson's out till October. Jota is going really well. They expect him to return in October. And then further on that, anyone who knows Stacey Devlin on Twitter, she tends to have some pretty good mail. So what she's gone through is Janetis for £9 million, Mamic for 8.5 million, 3 to 4 million for Toth, the goalkeeper, 3 million for Segor, loan for Landon Emanalo, on top of the 5.5 million for Duran, 11 to 12 million for who Hassan between 6 to 9 million, and Mika Bauer for just under 7 million. So we're spending a bit of cash, but the funny thing is we're currently still in a net. We've got money to spend still on what we brought in. So if all that was to happen, that's 3 midfielders, which would completely overhaul the middle of the park, which is something we've been saying needs to happen. Gives us a backup left back, someone in Segura who can play central mid at 6, and he can also play right back to give us some cover there while Johnston's out. I like the sounds of this. It's given a shape that we've got options. We can play the 4-4-2, we can play the 4-3-3, we can play a 3-5-2 with all this. So we're set up. You bring in all those we get into the Champions League, you bring in all those players, suddenly you've got 40, 50, 60 million coming in from Champions League. You've offset everything as well. So, yeah. What are your thoughts, Ian?
This young left back though, unless he's an absolute superstar, it could be like another Simpson Pussy, which was pointless Pussy. You know what I mean? It was no point signing him at all. I'd rather go and get a ferry from Dundee United. He's a thorn on our side every time we play him. He looks well decent for the league, and I think he's got a level or two to step up. I think he would be good to alternate with KT. So again, you know, it's we've got loads of players of the same age in our youth sort of setup. And we're going to get someone from Chelsea. So unless he's absolutely outstanding, and we've really sort of we've got like another Lamal or someone like that. But obviously playing left back, I don't really see the point of that one. But yeah, we need a defensive central midfielder. I think that would have helped us in the first game. But yeah, good. As I say, I just hope the board don't just think they've done enough, and we continue and get these players in that we're room to be getting.
I'm just looking at him now on the Wikipedia, right? And he's 5'11", but they've listed him as a midfielder, not as a defender. And they're saying that he was at Chelsea, then went to Monaco, then back to Chelsea. So England and United States Youth International. It looks like an option, but I don't know. I'd rather we get something a bit better.
More proven, at least. He might be a fantastic footballer, but he's not got the experience yet, and I think we need people with experience, especially after last season.
But question I've got for you, Shane, okay? I'll throw you because I know you want to just jump in and say something there, is my concern is, say, if we were to, say KT was to get hurt in 6 months' time, and you've got this young left back on the bench who's barely played a minute of senior football, and you're in the Champions League, and you got to put him in there, how confident would you feel? Because
Oh, look,
if
not
there's
very.
an option to buy at the end of the loan, I'd consider it. But yeah, I just don't really like the look of it.
Not very. I think you're bringing that kid in if you're sort of playing and you're sort of focusing on him domestically, really, or as a backup at Champions League where you need to be. But I think you guys have hit the nail on the head with this potential signing. We do need someone with more experience here because KT is more often than not, not going to run out the 90 minutes. When you think of sort of players that aren't going to see out the full 90. To me, KT is the obvious one that's probably going to come off and get hooked around the 65th, 70th minute mark, sort of every fixture, regardless. So you're going to need someone who can step right into that. And at Champions League level, you don't want to expose a kid to that unnecessarily. So, yeah, I agree. That's the only signing I really have some concerns about because I'd want someone with more proven quality there. But all the other signings that you listed, look, it's very promising and it's exciting. And that's something we haven't really been able to say about Celtic and the transfer market for quite a long time.
And Willie, if we were to bring in Emanalo, for instance, right, at left back, the question I've got for you is what games is he going to play? Because realistically, Tierney's going to play your Champions League games. He's going to play your Glasgow derbies. But realistically, I can only see this guy coming in to play the games like after we've played midweek in Europe.
I think that's right. You hit the nail on the head there, Jared. It will be post-European games he'll be coming into play because European games are really energy-sapping affairs. And Kieran Tierney, as much as we love him, he is a little bit on the injury-prone side, as Shane said. And yeah, Manalo will come in and he will play. If he is going to play out there, it will definitely be post-European games. But as it goes for European games, once Hassan's fit, he'll be playing out in that wing. I don't think they'll put Hassan and the Manalo on as a combination unless he turns out to be really, really good. I think if Kieran Tierney starts flagging during a game, the chances are you'll take him off and throw Scales in there to shore all that and leave Hassan in front of him, might just give a bit more defensive solidity to it all.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Now, if he comes in, I'll back him. Okay, 100%. Gavi, I just want to make sure any fan that moans should just think back here. Okay, so 100%. Not complaining that we're bringing him in if he comes in, right? I want him to come in and do well. Anyone that comes in gets the chance to wear a Celtic shirt is living the dream. Any one of the four of us on this podcast, if we were young enough, fit enough, and had the footballing ability, would, probably give our left nut to play for Celtic. So
I still can.
yeah, come on, Shane, you're too small, man. Maybe in the under 16s. But I had to. Couldn't help myself. But realistically, like, he comes in and does well, great. But this is so much better than this time last year in terms of getting players in. So I'm going to go through a depth chart. So say if we sign all of these players. Saw someone put this up on FootMob before, right? So this was their current starting lineup if we were to sign all those players we were linked with. So the current lineup starts with Suasalo in goals, Tierney at left back, Johnson at right back, and Team America at your centre backs. Midfield of Bauer and McGregor with Nigret in front of him. Jota on the left, Hassan on the right, who up front. Backup options, we have a whole nother second team here that is better than the team that won the comp last year. If you sign Toth in goals, Scales and Murray at your centre-backs, Emanalo and Donovan at your full-backs, Segura and Janettis, if we're to bring him in as well, at your 2 sixes, Mamich in front of that, Yang on the right, Tanecki on the left, Duran as a striker.
Wow.
So there's some crazy good options. That's the thing we've been talking about, wanting to have those two people battling it out. Now, I'm getting up this comment here from Gordon. What happened to the young left back from Barca we had on loan? Would be the same with this lad, I fear, not strong enough for the SPL. That would be talking about Alex Valle, who's playing at Como in Italy, I think it is.
Do you hear about Kuhn? Apparently he's been transfer listed by Como as well.
That was actually my would you rather, Ian. So perfect little throw it. We'll move across to that. Perfect timing. I actually was going to do the whole would you rather. Nicholas Kuhn or, and rattle through our wingers that we currently have.
Sorry, mate.
Nah, don't
Dunno.
apologise. It was a perfect segue. So would you rather Nicholas Kuhn or Yang?
Yang. Well, like Kuhn when he was well, at it, but it just looks like he's not got it for very long. It just looks like he's missed the 30%.
Are we talking about Champions League Kuhn, or are we talking about all the time Yang?
But isn't it the worst thing? You know, you've got like wasted talent or people who don't care or don't give it. You don't marry the talent with the effort, and that's Kuhn all over. He's got talent in abundance, but he just doesn't try hard enough.
That was what I meant earlier about the hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. It's he's a perfect summary of that. Then we've got Tenekti or Yang. Not Yang. Tenekti or Kuhn. Would you rather, Willie? Tenekti or Kuhn?
Couldn't
Don't
that?
forget, Jared's watching, and he's probably got his dick in his hand at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I was going to say somebody somewhere. He's either watching or when he listens to this tomorrow, he'll be start touching himself. But I was going to circle back.
Jesus,
I
don't
was
do
going to
this.
circle back and say if
Don't
you'd said
do
this if this had been asked on the Thursday show, Yang or Kuhn, there would have been two squares having a right good old ding dong with each other, and Dan and Gerard, because Dan's right in the Yang gang and Gerard's a big Kuhn lover. They probably came to blows though.
Okay, Shane. So, would you rather Jota or Mr. Kuhn?
No, it's got to be Jota. Easy. Sorry, Jared. Don't hate me, but it's got to be Jota.
Ian, Hassan or Kuhn?
Sam.
Willie, Jamesy Forrest or Kuhn? I'm getting down the depth charts now.
This is where the
I
talent
know.
versus effort really comes in this one, I reckon.
Is and you know what I mean. You've got a couple of good games out of Kuhn where you just get 110% out of Forrest every time he tries his heart out. Like you know what I mean. And for the longevity of Forrest,
It's Club Legends
I'll say
versus.
is this like? Are we talking about prime James Forrest, or are we talking about now James Forrest? Like,
Well, we don't know what Kuhn's like. He's been rubbish for ages, so don't worry. I've kept
Yeah.
Shane with the loaded last question. Kuhn or Alec Wisher?
Mate, I'm picking myself ahead of Alec Wisher, let's be honest. Kuhn.
That's the only win. So for me, realistically looking at that, we've got 5 guys we would rather play in front of him, and then he gets a Guernsey before Balak Wisher. That's pretty much it. And we didn't even put Duran on a wing to classify in that as well. So anyone linking us with Kun coming back here? No. No. Don't do it. No.
Gerard's just unsubscribed on YouTube.
Jared has reported this channel for slander. Whatever. We mentioned Jota.
It's going to get substantiated if they see that little bit we talked about before.
Remember when someone put on, I think it was on Twitter, that Nicholas Kuhn, his face looks like a mixture of Paddy Roberts and Henrik Larsson, and once you see it, you just can't see it.
Yeah,
Shame it was that he didn't play like them.
yeah.
He played closer to Paddy Roberts than he did than Henrik Larsson.
So now let's just for a laugh, let's pick one random former Celtic winger that you would pick over Kun, an obscure one, and one that you would pick Kun ahead of, just for a laugh.
Oh.
I'll start it if you want.
Yeah, go on.
Filip Twardzik from Lenny's first stint. I'll take one of those Czech wingers over Kun. I thought his injuries ruined him. There you go. Yeah, I would pick Kun over him.
Dirk Borikta.
Reggie Blinker.
I remember he made his debut against Kilmarnock and he looked all right. And he kind of obviously got injured. I used to see him in Marks and Spencer's Food all the time. Decent lad.
Come on, Shane. You know you want to say Tilio.
Oh, well, that's too easy. I was going to go a bit left field, but Oh, look, in terms of a former winger, I'd pick ahead of Kuhn. Like, there's quite a few, but Leo Abada, obviously. Of course, for one just out there from recent memory. Haksabanovic, I'd probably pick Kuhn ahead of Haksabanovic if you considered him a winger.
Smell the gloves come through with a good one. Joe Miller of the centenary season.
I was going to say Super Joe, but I thought that was too obvious.
Willie, you got anyone you want to add?
Nakamura.
Okay, and now one.
Are you picking Kuhn ahead of him?
No. What has he just asked? Somebody you would pick ahead of Kuhn.
And then someone you'd pick Kuhn ahead of.
Sorry,
Somebody-
I'm teasing you.
Willie's.
I was going to say, who did you pick?
Me.
Aye.
I picked a Abada ahead of Kuhn, and then I picked Kuhn ahead of Haksabanovic.
I said Kuhn ahead of Philip Tawadzi, or however you say it. Now, one I'd pick ahead of him. In Ange's first season, we had a certain winger on our bench. I would pick Harry Kewell as the coach over him.
What a player he was, though.
Yeah, I know. Unbelievable. Oh, there you go. Gavy's coming through with some stuff here.
And I tell you what, right? Harry Kewell, the part he played in Daisen Maeda's journey should not be understated. He was teaching him how to go past a man and really teaching him how to be a winger. I thought, yeah.
Who did I've interrupted Willie's flow. I don't think we actually heard from Willie like who he'd pick Kuhn ahead of.
Reggie Blinker.
Oh, fucking hell, Reggie was good.
He's always had a stinker. It was old Reggie Blinker.
I like Reggie.
He had one or two good games, but he had a lot of bad ones too. Like.
He was a good player, though. He was one of these.
He was. He was
a
talented
good player.
type. But.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll throw it out to the comments here quickly. Any questions that you've got? Random, 2 or 3 quick random questions, topics you want us to touch on, quick chat on. Otherwise, we'll move it along and we'll go to our final thoughts and wrap up the pod.
I've got one.
Okay, go on.
New songs for players, right? I was trying to, I reckon, I don't know if you might know this one, I remember this one from back in the day, right? So there's a band called Tempo Tudor, Swords of a Thousand Men. It is nailed on perfect for Duran. Duran, Duran, Durani. Duran, Duran, Durani. He scored the goal of 1,000 men. Got to get that. Got to get that as a song for Kuhn. For Duran.
You got Kuhn on the brain, don't you think like? Don't we have to work in a Duran song, surely, or is it just too obvious?
They're doing it at the on the tannoy system at the end of the game. They're playing Duran songs, but like that's just lazy. This just writes itself, you know.
I had a go at Rio, but I realised we used Rio. We have one for Rio, right? I used Rio for Duran, but then it just didn't make sense. So then I've been trying to go through their back catalogue and go like, what's a decent Duran song that you can sing along to for a bit?
I think they were playing "Hungry Like the Wolf" after the game the other night. But like,
how do we crowbar
it was like when the Hearts fans were singing Claudio Braga to the tune of Radio Gaga. I mean, that was really good as well. It's got to fit in, you know, it's got to rhyme and fit in, I think.
There you go. You got any random things, boys? Shane, you want to get a little topic going?
No.
Willie?
Random topics. The ladies' team moved to a new stadium this week. I was watching a little bit about that. Like, smaller stadium. They moved away from, where was it? Partick Thistle Stadium. Was it Partick Thistle they were playing at? They were playing at Firhill and and then in Airdrie's one is Shibre Excelsior as well. So they moved away from that to a smaller stadium, and it's going to be their new home stadium. So good luck to the girls out there.
Go get the job done, girls. There you go. Smell the glove. Brilliant. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll call it there. See you all in the next pod when we qualified for the Champions League. Yep, I went there. So we'll get a final thought from each of us and when we'll wrap it up here. So, Shane, you obviously going to have a music thing that So we'll go to you first.
New self-titled DMA's album came out on Friday. I love DMA's, even though they're from Sydney and they support Sydney FC. I won't hold that against them for now.
Vlogs.
They put out great albums. This is no exception. It's awesome. Great songwriting as always. Heaton Park is just an absolute tune. So I love DMA's. If you haven't checked them out, please do. They're absolutely worth it. If you love anthemic music, check them out. They're awesome.
Nice. Willie?
Final thought from me: don't let little men interrupt your thoughts.
Stop talking about Shane, okay?
God damn it! that. You didn't even make it subtle.
Ian?
Final thought. The board have finally done what they should have been doing for a while. Don't stop there, fellas. Do what you should have done all along and get the remaining players in that we're needing. And let's just blow everyone away this season and let Martin attack Europe and repair our reputation in Europe.
Ian's talking about blowing teams away in Europe, and I'm about to say, Jared, if you're watching, put the lotion down. Hail, everyone. See you next week.
Can I just say before we go, mate? Can I
Yeah.
just wish my wife a happy birthday for tomorrow, Kate?
Your wife has the same birthday as my mother. There you go. I just twigged on that now. So
25th of August. Yeah.
2 good eggs. Happy birthday,
Happy
Ian's
birthday,
wife.
aye.
Cheers, everyone. See you next week. Hail, hail.
Hell, hell.
Hell.